Currently, SpaceX is planning on creating a number of versions of the Starship launch vehicle, each serving its designated mission profile. Of course, all versions will complement and support the other to form a Starship fleet capable of conquering the solar system. But before any conquering can happen, SpaceX first needs to build the different variants of Starship and get them into space. For those who are not familiar with SpaceX Starship lineups, here is a short summary of the different variants. Let's start with the Starship Crude version. This is the current design meant to transport people to LEO destinations and Mars. Next up we got the Starship Cargo version. With its large whale-like jaw, it can deploy the biggest payloads anywhere in the solar system. Imagine next-gen telescopes, space station modules, or roughly 400 Starlink satellites. The next version is another cargo version with a different cargo bay door, suitable to deliver payloads to the surface of other planetary bodies, like Mars, the Moon, or the moons of the Jovian system. Here, the cargo bay doors open on a vertical axis to allow cargo to be lowered to the surface with a crane. Here we have the Starship Tanker version. This one is used for refueling the other Starship variants on their way to their respective solar system destinations. At last but not least, the Lunar Starship version. This one is specially designed for NASA's Artemis program. If SpaceX wins over its competitors, this variant will function as a landing ship for the Moon's surface. The Starship variant that we came up with is actually not really a new concept. In a way, the foundation for this concept was already applied to the now retired Space Shuttle. The Space Shuttle design was very unique in the way that it combined the capabilities of transporting astronauts and cargo into one spacecraft, while traditionally, this was done separately. This allowed them to combine different mission profiles into one single launch architecture. Of course, the Space Shuttle was not a fully reusable launch system, and the launch costs were many times more than a SpaceX Falcon 9 launch, which can lift around the same weight in cargo to low Earth orbit. With every Space Shuttle launch, the big orange fuel tank was left to burn up in Earth's atmosphere, after which remaining debris would rain down on the ocean. Luckily, this will not happen with SpaceX's fully reusable Starship and Super Heavy booster, but the reusability issue is not really the point of comparison I am targeting. It is about what you see here. The fusion of two space launch mission profiles merged into one spacecraft, with the ability to carry a large number of astronauts and a significantly sized cargo, such as space station modules, telescopes, and Starlink satellites. Currently, SpaceX has not yet put forward a Starship design with the same kind of combined capabilities. So we here, at SpaceXvision, thought we could come up with that instead. Basically, in terms of design, it is as if the Crude version and the cargo version of Starship had a baby, inheriting the genes of its parents and their capabilities. As you can see, the hybrid Starship in the middle looks mostly the same, compared to the ones next to it in terms of external shape. However, there are some key differences. The hybrid design does not have large panoramic windows like the original SpaceX's Crude Starship design. Leaving this part out will significantly save on costs and complexity, and probably weight as well. 3 rows of windows were removed, and the crew access door, which also functions as a docking port, was put in the middle of a row of windows. Below the crew compartment, there is a large unpressurized cargo bay to transport all kinds of cargo to low Earth orbit. It does not seem like a huge difference, but it can significantly change the mission profile. We believe, with this hybrid Starship design, SpaceX could expand its offered services to customers and save on costs for themselves and their clients by combining passenger and cargo delivery into a single flight. Basically, They could do cargo ride-sharing with passenger flights, thus expanding the operational envelope. The freed-up space above the crew compartment houses an enlarged header tank. This allows the cargo bay to be pushed down because the fuel tanks below it can be made smaller. It also helps with extra balance during atmospheric re-entry. Below the header tank, we have the crew compartment. There are 3 levels that are just over 2 meters in height, giving enough space for around 70 passengers for short-term flights and 20 for longer-term. While the lowest level accommodates the access door, which also functions as a docking port. The sizable cargo bay sits right below the crew compartment, which is more than 6 meters in height. The utility of this hybrid design is illustrated here. One part of the mission can be to deliver astronauts or space tourists to the International Space Station. Actually, we are gonna need a bigger space station to accommodate 70 people. Since the crew compartment is smaller than the one from the regular crewed Starship, it is more suited for short transfer flights to low Earth orbit destinations. So all the crew compartment spaces are dedicated to passenger seats, similar to an airplane. The second part of the mission is cargo delivery. In this scenario, a new habitation module is delivered to the ISS to accommodate more space tourists in the future. The cargo capacity for this hybrid Starship is around 70 metric tons. More than enough for large space station modules like the one you see here. So with every launch to the ISS, they could potentially expand the station with more modules, increasing its capacity for astronauts and space tourists. Instead of station modules, they could also carry Starlink satellites. The use cases for this design can be numerous, which I am planning to explore more in future videos. In the near future, I'll release another Starship design that you would expect the least. I am also planning other Starship designs, and I even have a Starship version 2 in the works that will blow your mind. Expect some awesome artificial gravity stations in the near future as well. So subscribe so you won't miss it. If you think this design is super lame or genius, please tell us in the comments below. If you find this AI voice disgusting, bear in mind that my own voice is worse, so I am doing you a favor. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. I would also thank my awesome patrons that support this channel. If you are a content creator, I have a special Patreon perk that will allow you to use my animated footage. Links are in the description below.